B1 family, welcome to Black Logic. So today we're going to talk about two major topics. We're going to talk about how Republicans also pander to Black Americans, as well as the Black American culture and what we have innovated and invented for this country. There are some things that we need to truly stay in touch with the struggles and a lot of the needs that we need in Black America. And when it comes to Republicans, they like to use flashy gimmicks. Recently, we talked about Trump golden shoes, how they're trying to gain entrance into Black communities by the way of proxies of materialistic things that does nothing for Black Americans. We have a deep-rooted history in America filled with countless inventions and innovations that has pushed change for quite some time. Now, we can date things back from the Civil Rights Movement and many of the legislations that assisted many people, not just Black Americans, but many people that we need to address as well. But despite, our rich heritage, our rich history, and the contributions that we have made, Black Republicans fail to recognize the systematic issues facing Black communities just as well as the Democrats. So they would like to believe because we are removing ourselves from this Democratic halo, the Democratic branch, Democratic Party, that we'll be moving over into the Republican Party. And that's why we're always talking about policy over party, which is absolutely important to our betterment of our communities. But they align themselves with individuals that undermine our progress. They undermine our progress because some people may give anecdotal things that Trump has done. Oh, he gave HBCUs more money than any American president. Let's take, for instance, that was true. How does that help the Black collective? How many immigrants go to HBCUs? When I went to my son's graduation, I think it was 2 years ago, I think it was about 3% non-Black American, okay? Now, I know some people say, well, it'll still help to reduce the amount of costs for people going to school, but listen, we still have to pay for college. And college is not free. And then a counter argument could be that Joe Biden is reducing or wiping away or relieving student debt for Black Americans. But again, he's doing that for everyone else. And another part about Donald Trump allocating additional funds for HBCUs, he also did that for Hispanic institutions and PWIs as well. No one is pointing those things out. But see, the rise in white supremacy and hate crimes is undeniably a reality of Black Americans. I know you guys been listening to, or you guys came upon that recent story of a young man out of Georgia who was dating a white woman who quite recently was found hung in a well-known path in Georgia. So these are some of the things that kind of surround that sort of Republican, MAGA white-based crowd. Not stating all of them are racist or prejudiced or somehow have white privilege. I'm not stating that, but these things need to be addressed and they need to be talked about, okay? But going back to police brutality, to the actions of extremist groups, our community continues to face violence and discrimination on a daily basis. And let's not forget Trump's own words. I have a clip for you guys, and these are Trump's own words, because this was such a level of disrespect and it was insulting, but it further highlights the disconnect between Black Republicans and the true needs of our community, because some Black Republicans or Black conservatives, right? And they're one of the same, but they're separate, okay? It's kind of a distinction without a difference. I can't call every conservative a Republican, but I can call every Republican a conservative because there's not too many Republicans who are liberals. It goes against their very nature, okay? So I'm gonna cue up this clip. So as we move forward, let's remember our history, because we're gonna cover that in brief detail as well. Let's remember our resiliency and our ongoing fight for what's rightfully ours, okay? So let me cue up this clip for you guys very, very quickly here. I see I got DSB, one of my warrior brothers, in the room. So we're gonna cue up this clip for you guys. Give me 1 second here. Here we go.
A second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the Black people like, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. And then I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's
See, I don't think people understood this clip right here. Donald Trump was making fun of it. He was actually having a great time. He thought it was funny. They thought I was being discriminated against. A rich, powerful white man who used to be president. Black people are so ignorant. Black people are so stupid that they believe that I was being discriminated against. No matter all the allegations that they have against me and some tangible proof and evidence that could convict me, but they won't, okay? Because we know we understand that he benefits from the system of white supremacy as well as white privilege. But see, a lot of times when people remove themselves from one belief system, they then have to transform and change and move to another belief system. Just because you're no longer voting Democrat doesn't automatically haphazardly have you to vote Republican. That's asinine. We're just going from one slave master to another slave master, from one plantation to another plantation. We're just transforming and transferring our belief system because we just have to vote. We just have to believe in something. We just have to follow something. Let me play that one more time. I don't think you guys heard this. Look at the candor. Look at the laughter in this.
It's been pretty amazing. And then I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. And then I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing.
I think what he meant to say, it's been pretty funny that they believe me, Donald J. Trump, has been indicted 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. And they think that I'm being discriminated against. How silly is that? That's what I got from that family. I don't know what you guys got from it. But that is exactly what I got from it. From Trump's golden shoes, some black Republicans parade around in these flashy kicks, thinking they can buy their way into our black communities. So black people are connecting with Trump because of his multiple allegations, his multiple indictments, and now his golden high top sneakers. Well, let me tell the MAGA group, let me tell the so-called black Republicans, let me tell Donald Trump that the black American community is not some monolithic entity easily swayed by a pair of sneakers or simply the fact that you've been indicted on alleged crimes. We have a rich and diverse culture rooted in our history of resilience, creativity, and innovation, and we're not easily moved by a person who allegedly committed multiple crimes and the person creating golden shoes to probably relate to black people, probably, allegedly. Because when you think about our history, family, when you think about our contributions, black Americans have contributed immensely to American society. But you have people on the right and the left to denigrate, to dilute, to dissolve some of the things that we have done. Now, I know you guys are familiar with Gary Morgan, right? The one who created an innovative traffic light that had the third light, not just the one they had over in England with the red and the green, but Gary Morgan created the traffic light that had the green, yellow, and red to have them essentially slow down. We've talked about Marion Van Braun's home security system, the blood bank by Dr. Charles Drew. What about the gentleman, what's his name? Dr. Daniel Hill Williams, who did the open heart surgery. There's just a few examples of invaluable contributions that our people have made in this country. And we cannot forget about changes we have inspired and fought for through the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And here's something, the Democrats will have you to believe that we don't have voting rights, that voter ID laws are discriminatory. I don't believe so. I really want you guys to think you're voting for the most powerful position in the country, and the only thing they're requiring you is to have an ID. Anything else in life that you have to verify who you are, you need an ID. But when you go vote for the most powerful position, you don't need no ID. That's why there's now stories coming out stating that there were illegal immigrants voting for Joe Biden. Go check it out, family. We also helped pair part of the legislation act that helped pass fair housing. That was done in 1968. Where all the monumental pieces of legislation that was pushed forward by the Black community, ties of activism, people on the ground beating the drum, stumping the pavement. But despite our contributions and struggles, we still face white supremacy hate crimes. In the midst of all of these things that's occurring, have we got a protection from the federal government, from the state government? Absolutely not. Why is that? Because from police brutality to attacks by white supremacist groups, foundational Black Americans are constantly targeted. And what does Trump do? What does Biden do? What legislation have they brought forth? Some people will state that Donald Trump exacerbates the problem by emboldening these hate groups, even going as far as suggesting that Black people like him because of his alleged crimes. This is unacceptable. And this is why I told you I don't toe the line on each party, that Black empowerment should be our political party, the empowerment of ourselves. I urge you guys to see through the facade of those who are using flashy gimmicks to deceive us. And we shouldn't be fooled by empty gestures or tokenism, because that is what all of this is. We should be celebrating our culture. We should be demanding justice for our communities and hold these politicians who pander to Black Americans accountable, and those who perpetuate hate and oppression. Because this is asinine, it's a bunch of symbolism that they're trying to ignore our real problems. And when they talk about monolithic, they should really be talking about us being on code and having an agenda moving forward, and not just rendering or surrendering our vote to a political party who panders to us. Would it be Joe Biden going to a Black family household, bringing them fried chicken while he eats a cheeseburger, or Donald Trump making some damn golden shoes and him being indicted, talking about Black people like him because he's been indicted? I don't think you guys see what I see, but the family, I have another one I'll do up for you real quick. Give me one second. For those people who are Trumpsters or niggers for Trump, or Negroes for Trump, or wherever people are talking about nowadays with Trump. And that's why I tell people, whether it be the Democrats with Joe Biden or the Republicans with Donald Trump, what is the legislation that's being passed to support, to resource, and to assist Black American communities, especially the fact that we're actually being invaded, we're actually being undermined. And for quite some time, people say, oh, people are just gonna say, oh, they're taking Black American jobs. Oh, Lord. Listen to this one, family. This is crazy. This one is absolutely crazy.
He's a great guy. Good. These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? We've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The Black population. It's incredible. You see Black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing.
Family, how stupid is this? Can we hear that? Can we hear this one more time? Now, he made this racial slur. He made this racial joke, and he thought it was quite hilarious. He was stating the lights were so bright inside of his face that he really couldn't see anything except for the Black people. Why even say that? And then you're going to have a lot of Black people who are getting on the Trump train, who's always been Trump 2024, and they stole the election. You're going to have all these people come out the woodwork and talking about, oh man, he an old white man. He probably thought it was funny. They give excuses for white supremacy. They give excuses for racist jokes. They give excuses for racist trolley train jokes. I mean, I just don't get it. They're telling us who they are and what they are, and by their non-actions, what they're not going to do. Let's listen to this one more time.
Mark, where are you? Where's Mark? Right. He's a great guy. Good. These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? We've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The Black population. It's incredible. You see Black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing.
This is so stupid, family. I'm telling you, this is absolutely asinine. This is absolutely asinine. I just have to move from this topic because once you understand what a party is, who a person is, and what they have and have not done, and they're telling you through so many, kind of under a veil of confusion and delusion, not so much convoluted to a point where we can't understand, but we can break down and we can see through the lines. Why even say these things? Black people relate to me. They got my mug shot on their shirt. I made some golden shoes. I can't see the white people because the white light is in my eye, but I can see the Black people. These things are very racial. They're very convoluted. They're very contorted. But we need to see through this mess because, again, family, they're trying to remove us from one party just to follow and go over to the other plantation. If we don't stand on business, if we don't stand 10 toes down on reparations, cash payments, on making ourselves a protected class, just for starters, then we're not only going to be third in line, but we're going to be fourth in line, right? Right now, we're around 15% of the population, around 15 million, but the onslaught of people from the southern border has increased the Hispanic population from anywhere. I think the last time I looked at the Census Bureau was like 19%. We're looking at 22%, family. We're looking at hundreds of thousands of people within the last year. I believe last year alone, 300,000 people came through south of the border. Now, that 300,000 people wasn't totally Hispanic folk. It was Haitians, it was Chinese, it was Indian, and a lot others. But this is why we can't toe the line when it comes to politics. This is why we cannot toe the line when it comes to politics, family. But there's something else I want to switch to very quickly when it comes to the innovations, the inventions in American culture, because I've been seeing for quite some time, probably in the last month, more so than any other time, it pops its head up every now and again of people denigrating Black American culture, people denigrating American culture by the proxy of Black Americans, stating that we have not contributed to this country. How do you contribute to a country, family? What is culture? Is culture not art? Is culture not music? Is culture not food? Is culture not the advancements in technology? What is culture? Because when I think about it, from creating iconic genres of music like hip hop, country, yes, Black folk created country, and one of the iconic symbols of country, especially when it comes to music, was the banjo out of Africa that we've adopted. And then, I forget some of the names here, family. But even Jimmy Rogers stated that he learned country music from Black folk that was enslaved. So hip hop, country, jazz, blues, R&B, to inventing a wide range of products and technologies that has revolutionized the world. Black Americans have been at the forefront of creativity and ingenuity. Now, did you guys know that Black Americans were the masterminds behind inventions like, and I know you guys know this, right? Potato chips, the Super Soaker with Lonnie Johnson, the first blueprint for an airship that was passed and approved before the Wright brothers, the soybean, and also the Farmer's Almanac by the way of Benjamin Banneker. Okay, we've made great strides when it comes, great strides, great innovations, great inventions, and contributed to the American society as well as the culture. Not to mention the important role that we have played in important moments in history, such as to pass, as we stated before, the Civil Rights Bills, building America's infrastructure. We're going to go over that a little bit, from the railroad to the Capitol building, and shaping the skylines of numerous American cities, despite facing oppression and discrimination along the entire way. We were getting killed, hung, beaten, incarcerated wrongfully, all the while we were building America. We have preserved through events like the Red Summer of 1919, right? And this happened even before Tulsa, Oklahoma of 1921, when majority of these Black prominent towns and Black business districts were destroyed. Because Tulsa, Oklahoma came 2 years after the Red Summer of 1919. Look that up. What about the destruction of all the Black Wall Streets? I mean, there was a Black Wall Street in Raleigh. They had Black Wall Streets all around the country, family, not just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We haven't mentioned all the multiple massacres, all of the towns that were flooded. The list goes on and on and on. They also have to contend with redlining, okay? They haven't really put that on the forefront, redlining, and now gentrification. And the theft of a lot of our ancestors' land. It's a well-known fact that even during slavery, slave masters often stole credit for inventions and innovations of Black people, of our ancestors. Of course, you guys are familiar with Lewis Latimer, who invented the carbon filament, which was crucial in the creation of the light bulb. A lot of people give him credit for the light bulb because without the filament, you don't have a light. Okay, the rest of the light bulb is probably some threading, a glass casing, and that's, pretty much it as far as my recollection, from far as I can remember. What about Gerd Morgan with the smoke hood, also known as the modern gas man? These are just a few examples of some of the contributions that our ancestors have made to modernize not only America, but the world. So the next time you enjoy a tune, a rap, a beat, a tempo, okay? Take a moment to appreciate the incredible impact that foundational Black Americans have made to our society, and not just America, but to the world. Because we're now seeing a lot of Asians do their hair in cornrows. A lot of Asians are now rapping. I just sent, I think yesterday, a buddy of mine, I sent him a clip of Filipinos battle rapping. I mean, they're speaking in Tagalog. We didn't understand what they were saying, but they were battle rapping. They had a huge crowd. Who created all of these things? What would the world be without hip hop? What would the world be without jazz? What would the world be without country, without blues, without R&B? It would be a very boring place. And when people don't understand, so hip hop is not just music, right? It's not just people rapping over a beat. It's not just graffiti on the wall, because we understand the first evolution of hip hop was for revolution. It was revolutionary music. It was a music of power. It's a family. It's just so much to take there. Let me point out a couple of things here. Got to share some things for you, because I have a couple of websites I want to share with you guys very quickly. Bear with me here. Trying to keep things in order. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Now, I'm going to run through a couple of things here, family. It says Black Americans have invented many everyday items, including the clothes dryer. And here's another thing. A lot of people don't understand, when you do things day in and day out, you have multiple ideas on how to solve a problem or how to make things easier. And if you ever been doing something at work or at home and you kept doing it, like, man, I know I can make this quicker. I know I can make this faster. I know I can make this easy, smarter, not harder. So who do you think was the low skilled workers America coming out from slavery, coming out from Reconstruction, coming out from Jim Crow. Who you think were doing these things? So that's why we created a lot of the things that modernize the world, not just America. The clothes dryer, just hang your stuff up. And I mean, to this day, people still hanging their clothes up. They might not want their shirt to shrink or some things to die. You get what I'm getting at. The automatic gear shift, the modern toilet. You see, Black people were more than average. We're phenomenal people, right? When I was stationed over in Korea, the first time I remember I was exploring Korea, I made a little group called LIK, Lost in Korea. And we used to just get on the subway and pick a spot and get off. Well, you're out and about, right? You're probably not going to any establishment to spend money because we're kind of just exploring. So you'll try to find a bathroom. You go inside of a Korean bathroom. I'm pretty sure things have changed now to a certain degree. You'll go into the bathroom, it's just a hole in the ground. And I know that happened in a lot of countries. That's not how we get down. We're like, what is going to a bathroom to sit in? We can do this out in the woods. So I want you to think about some of the things that we've created and the rationale our ancestors went through in creating these things. The lawn sprinkler. Yeah, we created the lawn sprinkler. Everybody knows about peanut butter. Okay, let's get down to the arts. It says Black Americans have contributed to literature through works by poets like Phyllis Wheatley. I read some of that work as well, and essays and autobiographies and novels by writers like David Walker and Marion Stewart. Black Caesars have been represented through sculptors like Edmona Lewis and painters like Henry O. Tanner. Science and technology. Black Americans have made notable advances in GPS technology. Laser eye surgery, who made up a procedure. Patricia Babb, that's her name. Patricia Babb, look that sister up. Okay, she's still alive today. And a telescope NASA sent to the moon. See, no one talks about the great achievements of Black Americans. They will just tell you that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're a criminal, you're on welfare, stop begging for reparations, all these racial things. I even hear Black folk speaking bad about Black folk. But I'll say, okay, well, why don't you ever speak good on our own people? What about the good we've done? You guys need to stop all that thug culture. Hip hop is demonic music. I will say that hip hop has changed, but I want you to understand what other people are now in hip hop. When did they come in and how did things change? I remember hip hop for me changed when Luke came inside of the picture. You guys know 2 Live Crew with Luke. And here's a trivia question for you guys. Where's Luke from? Is Luke a foundational Black American? That's my question. We also have space exploration. Mae Jemison was the first Black American woman to orbit space in 1992. And we also know about the Tuskegee Airmen who saved a lot of the white bomber pilots, and they started to be requested like they were DoorDash because they were protecting so many people, risking their lives for this country and other countries in these world wars, because Black Americans have been in every world war. So when they tell us that we haven't contributed to America, like, instead of getting into an argument, instead of getting into a debate, ask them how we have not contributed to America. No one wants to speak about that, do they, family? Nobody wants to speak about how we have not contributed to America. And of course, this gentleman right here, let me pop this up as well. I'm gonna read some of your comments, family. I'm gonna read some of your comments. Frederick Jones invented the first successful system for mobile refrigeration. His invention eliminated the far less effective use of ice and salt to preserve foods for transport, greatly extending the distance over which foods can be successfully delivered. Nobody talks about Frederick Jones. Nobody don't speak about that brother. Let me see who I got in the room very quickly here. Shout out to my DSB brother. He said, love the content you've been putting out. Keep up the amazing work. I appreciate that, brother. I see Devin in the room. Jermaine Anderson, one of my great moderators there. Thank you, brother. Blacks for RFK, he states that neither majority party will do anything for us. Vote third party research and candidates support the one that aligns with your values. Okay. Appreciate the hard work my moderators putting in. Thank you, brother. I'm working on a t-shirt T-shirt, family. I'm working on a T-shirt right now. I should be showing you guys this T-shirt sometime this week if I can get it in quickly. Okay, very basic T-shirt. It is a FBA T-shirt with no tangible, no boats on the back. I want to see the take what you guys think about that particular T-shirt. See, Adventurer's Guide to Galaxy says, I'm just gonna call you Galaxy. You got a long name. It would be extra boring without what we brought. I absolutely agree. AB, thanks for the fire emojis. I appreciate that. AB also states the producers push this type of music. They do. They put the demonic drill and kill music at the top of the charts versus music of empowerment. Okay. Let me move on, family. Let me move on. I got some more things here to show you guys. Because I think that a lot of us, now I'm originally from Washington, D.C. So I know quite a bit of Black history, more so than other people who've lived on the West Coast. Because I know the West Coast, by the way of, Washington, Oregon, and some parts of California, they don't really teach Black history. They teach MLK, George Washington Carver, maybe a couple of other people, but they don't go deep like this. Okay. Well, not even my schools went this deep, but we're going to go deep a little bit. Now, you see these brothers right here. These are probably some of the first brothers working on the railroad in America back in the 1840s. And what's significant about that date that I gave you guys just now is that the Chinese didn't come over and help build the railroad until the 1860s. So 20 years later, not until 20 years later. So let me see if I want to point these things out to you guys, right? It states here, the first railroad track in the United States became active in 1830. Now, when I was talking about 1840, this is leading up after they built like one or two railroads, but the major lines of railroad was really completed in the 40s by Black Americans, okay? But it stated here, the first active one was in 1830, and the Western North Carolina extension was running from Salisbury to Asheville by the late 1850s. Think about that. Chinese still not over here creating railroads, because I believe what came later was the Chinese and the Irish that once we laid the groundwork, clear the rocks, put the tracks down on certain lines, they helped to establish further the railroad throughout America. Let me continue. The idea was for the railroad to cut through the mountains from Morgantown to Asheville and further west. Due to the railroad's construction, there was a very high demand for enslaved laborers during the mid-19th century in Western North Carolina. So what they're showing here, are people, majority Black. I see it looks like maybe an Irish gentleman here. But other than that, it was 99% Black folk who who laid down the tracks for these railroads. Here's another one for you guys. I like to solidify my points, family. Black American Railroad Workers. This is coming from NPS.gov. So this is a federal government website, okay? It states here, prior to the Civil War, nearly every railroad in the American South was built using slave labor. During the Civil War, 1861 and 1865, U.S. military railroads employed thousands of Black Americans in the strategically important effort of moving men and materials, enabling the North to achieve victory. We was a major part of that, family. These are the things that they don't teach us. These are the things they try to keep under wraps. This is part of why states like Texas and Florida are trying to eradicate Black history, because if you don't know your history, if you don't know how great you are, then you think that this is the level you're supposed to stay at for your entire life. You're just supposed to stay oppressed and suppressed. Because even through oppression, even through suppression, we still have Black millionaires, and not all of them are rappers. Not all of them are in sports. We have people who are millionaires and billionaires who is in technology, who still creating things. What was the gentleman's name? Just had it on the tip of my tongue, who created the AWG, the atmosphere water gatherer. He's the one who went out with his water machine that gathers the water molecules, the moisture out of the air, and create potable drinking water. We covered that not too long ago. I believe we covered that last week. But they don't want to tell you guys this information, family. Oh, Hell no. They don't want to tell you none of this information. What about this? Because we talked about the railroads. Let me pop this up for you too as well. Give me a second. What about the highways? It states here, the War Department employed regiments of Black American engineers to help build roads during the Roosevelt administration. The word engineer, I think, family, a lot of times when we're doing well ourselves, we're not putting pressure, positive pressure on our kids to do well, not just in school, right? But guiding them in an industry, guiding them into a workforce, whether it be entrepreneurship or being part of a workforce that's ever changing. Are we pushing our kids to be mechanical and scientific and AI engineers and computer science engineers? This is the way of the world, okay? When it comes to technology, we are above Africa, we are above South America, we are above Australia, and in some regards, we're kind of meeting in the middle when it comes to Europe, but we're far behind countries like Japan, Korea, and China in some regards, even though China gets a lot of their inventions from Americans and they just kind of retrofit it and transform it and do some other things with it. But when it comes to advancement in technology, I'm trying to tell you, you go over to Japan, you go to Korea, you see some things you never saw before. You see a lot of inventions that you never seen before, okay? But yeah, it states here, in response to the attack on Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt authorized the construction of a road to Alaska. More than a third, that means majority of the people were Black American. It says that more than a third of the 11,000 men who shipped north to build the road came from 3 all-Black regiments. Enslaved people also built roads, buildings, ports, and rail lines in American cities. However, some say the interstate highway system was built around Black neighborhoods, isolating people and cementing racial divides. So we were building the very highways that ended up separating and dividing us and making our neighborhoods worse than what they already were. That's what they're basically stating right there, family. We was part of our own demise. We was part of our own destruction. But I mean, we didn't know it. We was doing it for jobs, and at the time, a lot of us was actually enslaved. Let me move on. It also states here, let's see the title, A Brief History of How Racism Shaped Interstate Highways. Some of the time, some of the time, yes, was actually the case. The highways were being built just as courts around the country were striking down traditional tools of racial segregation. So far, the courts were striking down the use of racial zoning to keep Black people in certain communities and white people in other communities. And so the highway development popped up at a time when the possibility of integration and housing was on the horizon. And so very intentionally, highways were sometimes built right on the formal boundary lines that we saw using during racial zoning. Sometimes community members asked the highway builders, listen to this, HOA, and a lot of people didn't understand that HOA was actually designed to keep Black people out of prominent neighborhoods. Look it up. I'm not making these things up, family. I told you on Black Logic, we speak the truth from a Black perspective. Okay, that doesn't mean that we're telling lies. It's from a Black perspective, but this is the truth. Sometimes community members, HOA, ask the highway builders, okay, to create a barrier between their community and encroaching Black communities. Tell me what that's about. Tell me what that's about. Let me move on. I'm gonna address some of your comments, family. Let's see here. Moses West, that's his name. AB and Blacks for RFK, you're absolutely correct. Moses West, that's his name. Thank you. I appreciate you guys getting on that for me. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Let me see here. Because there's a lot of other things I think we can kind of go over very, very quickly. I know there's some things that are already laid out. Okay, we talked about Dr. Daniel Hill Williams. Again, that open heart surgery thing is a I mean, it's just mind blowing to me of some of the advancements in medical advancements that we made. There's another gentleman who was not a doctor. They made a movie about him. You guys should go watch this movie. Mos Def played it, or I forgot his new name, Yassine Bey, but Mos Def played Vivian Thomas. That's what his name. Mos Def played Vivian Thomas, who created a procedure to cure the blue baby syndrome. That created the blue baby syndrome. Go look at the movie that Mos Def was in that created, that cured the blue baby syndrome. Let me show you something else here, family. I'm just showing you how great we are. I think a lot of people, not us, other people, they forget this. I did something. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Let me see if I can get this back up, family. Here we go. There we go. I had something highlighted down here. Here we go. This is come from AOC.gov. This is about the Capitol. It says here the site of the new capital city was located in an area that had few carpenters, bricklayers, stone cutters, and other tradesmen necessary to construct such a project. Engineers, okay, and that's why I keep telling you, you should really be pushing your kids some sort of space program, technology program, engineer program. This is the way of the future, right? We have to prepare them for the future. But it states here, engineers and architects were brought in from other areas, but the majority of the work fell upon the laborers in the area, who were comprised mostly of Black American slaves. These slaves, as well as other laborers, quarried the stone used for the floor walls and columns of the Capitol, saw both wood and stone, and became skilled in brick making and laying. Carpentry was also one of the more significant contributions slaves made to the construction of the Capitol as they framed the roof and installed its shingle covering. What is significant about that? It didn't say, at the earlier part of this statement here, it stated that they were learning on the job when it came to cutting stone and things of that nature. But when it came to carpentry, read that last sentence, carpentry was also one of the more significant contributions slave made to the construction of the Capitol. That means that we already knew how to build stuff. Because you'll get into some rooms, you'll talk to some people who are part of that system of white supremacy, who are very prejudiced, who have this white construct that white people came up with everything, they built everything. No, the slaves didn't know how to do this. How did they know how to do anything? There wasn't nothing in Africa. There was pyramids and all sorts of stone walls in Africa. Yeah. Our great ancestors from Africa knew how to build these things. That way, when the warrior brothers who were brought over on ships and those who were already here knew how to build things. Knew how to build things already. But they would have you believe that they taught us how to build these things so they wouldn't have to do it. Very untrue. Very untrue, family. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. AB says, no wonder they want to ban books. It's like a level playing field. Is there a kryptonite? Absolutely. And see, this same information, family, you have to teach your children to inspire them, right? Because for some strange reason, I'll speak to some parents who go to, who children go to my son's school, and their kids are in every sport. Their kids are in every sport. Their kids are in basketball, football, track, soccer. And me and my wife, we made a decision. We said, hey, listen, you got 2 sports. We don't care what those sports is. He said, well, I know I'm not that good in football, so next year I'm gonna do basketball and I'm going to do soccer. Okay, son, go ahead and do that. You got 2 sports. You're not gonna play sports year round because we're gonna put you in some programs, or you're gonna do some extra studying, because we have a goal. His goal is all A's. He was on the AB honor roll. Now your goal is all A's. We don't got time for that. You're gonna be playing sports all. You can hurt your leg, you can pull your hamstring, you can bust your knee, anything can happen in sports, family. You're not gonna be playing sports all year round. You're gonna get some of these programs, you're gonna do some extra studying, you're gonna take up a hobby. I don't know. but you're not going to be in sports. No, no, no. I'm not anti-sport. I play college football, but you're not going to be in sports all year long. Not happening. Let me share some other things with you guys very quickly. I see you over there, Blacks for RFK. I'm going to address what you said, brother. All right, now I just want to point out a couple of things for those people who are not informed about some of the things that Black Americans have built in this country, okay? So the White House in Washington, D.C., our Black American ancestors built that, okay? Let me move on. The U.S. Capitol. And have you noticed a lot of these things are staples of America? These buildings are representations of America. When people think about America, they think about the White House. They think about the Capitol. Do they not? Let me move on. The Statue of Freedom atop the Capitol. And again, these are staples of America because people think about freedom as well. The Smithsonian Institute. Yeah, we built that building. And as my brother would say, doesn't that building look semi-Moorish? I remember one of our FBA brothers, Tariq Nasheed, was in a discussion with someone out of, I think it was out of Morocco, and he was stating that Moors wasn't Black. And family, if you go and search in Google, how did Moors look? You're gonna see a bunch of Black people. So the white people lying on the white people about Moors. So it's just hilarious to me. But nonetheless, I digress with that. But the Smithsonian Institute, Wall Street, look, all the billions and trillions of dollars that transfer through Wall Street. And here's another thing. Out of all the things that we've built alone, our ancestors who were enslaved, they're still denying our claim for reparations. Think about that. America is a mega giant. Okay, it's a mega giant. Everybody wants to come to America. I want you to think about this, right? I want you guys to really think about this. People will tell you how great their country is. You know, people who are from the Netherlands, people who are from Sweden, British, Germans, Japanese, Koreans, Jamaicans, people from the African continent. There are many African countries, the Caribbean. They will always tell you how great their country is. People got their flags hanging from the mirrors in their cars, representing their country strong. Right here in America. Right here in America. They're telling us how great their country is right here in America. That's how powerful we are, family. Those are the contributions we've made, family. That people are so damn asinine talking about how great their country is, but then in the same breath and at the same time tell you there's no opportunity. Tell you that they came over here for a better way of life. So tell me how your country is good again. Tell me how your country's great again. Yeah. We should be pouting our chests. We should be stumping our feet. We should be spinning and grinning. We should be doing all those things. So this is what our people have done, and we're still doing it. Like we mentioned earlier, Moses West. Okay, Trinity Church. I'm leaving churches alone, family. Francis Tyram, leave that alone. A hall in Boston, blah. Fort Sumner in South Carolina, another staple in American history. Harvard Law School. Where's Harvard? What are reparations at Harvard? What it states here, Harvard Law School, built in 1817, was funded by Isaac Royal, a slave owner. A lot of his wealth came from the Black slaves he had working on sugar plantation and farms. Castillo de San Marcos Fort in Florida, okay? George Washington University. Wow, I know a lot of you guys didn't know that. And I'm from DC. We learned that actually in DC history. It says in 1838, Jesuit priests who were founders of Georgetown University sold, listen to this, they said that the priest sold 272 slaves and used the money, which today is worth about $3.3 million, to pay off debts and build its campus. So any of you guys who know somebody who went to Georgetown or you went to Georgetown University, just know that our forefathers and ancestors built George Washington University. Also, the University of North Carolina in North Carolina. Okay, University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill is the oldest public university in the country, built in 1793. It harnessed slave labor to build many of its early structures. Slaves continue to maintain buildings on campus until 1865. They continue to maintain and build in North Carolina, Chapel Hill, until the day we was released from slavery. Another building in Virginia, another building in Virginia, another building in Virginia. All these things, family. All of these things. What about, we talked about Charles Drew, but we talked about the blood transfusion, but he also had research on blood plasma that then laid the foundation for those blood banks. Okay, when we talk about innovations in arts and culture, let's not forget the Harlem Renaissance was a golden age of Black creativity, producing luminaries like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, Duke Ellington. Their work not only enriched American culture, but also challenged the status quo and paved the way for future generations of Black artists. I'm just naming a couple, family. I know you guys got a whole Rolodex of all our Black greats and what we have done in every single genre of American culture. But innovation doesn't just happen in the lab or in the studio. It all happens on the streets, in the halls of power, in the front lines of social change. Yeah, we got our Dr. Martin Luther King, we got our Rosa Parks, we have Black Americans and some of the allies for tirelessly for equality, for us to look as equals. We've done a lot, family. And when we look at different groups through Black American culture, who fought politically, who fought socially for change, the two that come to mind that's very prevalent is the Black Panther Party, as well as the Black Liberation Army. I know there's other grassroots organizations that stood up against oppression and fought back for foundational Black American empowerment. And these groups, they provided essential services to their communities, to our people, that advocated for political change and challenged the system of injustice that still to this day plague our society. So when we think about activists, one of our great master teachers like Malcolm X, we can't forget other people like Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, Kimberly Crenshaw, leading the charge for racial equality and social justice. We can't forget none of these people. We have so many great people who put their lives on the line for us. They put their lives on the line for us so we can be here today. And through all the oppression, through slavery, through Jim Crow, through Reconstruction, through redlining, through gentrification, through the sinking of our towns and cities, through the massacres, through police brutality, we're still here inventing, we're still innovating, we're still contributing to this country today. And the only way they're going to recognize us as we continue to stand up and speak out. And that doesn't mean vote Democrat. That doesn't mean vote Republican. That doesn't mean vote Green Party or Independent Party. That means vote on policies that systematically change foundational Black Americans as a whole. And if there's nothing on the table for us, then why would I ever show up? Why invite me to dinner and not even give me a plate? Why invite me for dinner and not even have a chair for me? I want you guys to think about that. Let me see what your comment's stating over here. I see my brother Afro Elite is in the room. B1 brother, B1 to you, brother. AB states that facts teaching my 14 and 15 years old about credit investing and trading now. I think my brother Afro Elite, I believe he has a broadcast this evening. Go check out his channel. Please support my brother Afro Elite. I know the brother's on a roll for 15,000 subscribers. Go support our brother Afro Elite, very powerful brother. I had him on the broadcast a couple times. Jermaine Anderson, oh, you talking about? Thank you. I appreciate you, Jermaine. I appreciate you, brother. Good hard work. AB says, seems like way more men are coming in than women and children. That's true. Kelly Carver says, the systems are forming inside of our bodies to the nerves and growing to the brain. They're raping humanity. This turns into us. Okay, maybe I got to read that at a later time. Jig says, what shape are your communities in again? You tell me, Jigs. You tell me. If you live in America, I believe everybody knows the shape of Black America in a lot of our communities. But the question is this, why are they in the conditions that they're in? That's the key. Not looking at the branch of the problem. What is the root of the problem? Oh, well, this Black community is plagued with drugs and violence. Why? Why is it? Well, the Blacks, they're dealing drugs and they're killing each other. Why are they doing that? And now we're only talking about 1 to 1.5% of the Black community. Majority of Black Americans, believe it or not, about 48% of Black Americans live in the middle class, even in some of these dilapidated communities that are unfortunately under Democratic supervision. Blacks for RFK states that James Baldwin was a genius. I'm not your Negro. Yep, very powerful, very powerful. Let's see what Kelly Carver. Let me see if I can decipher this, family. I was used against my will as one of their guinea pigs to teach us. Okay. I got to read that later. All right, let me read it. I'm going to try to decipher this last one from Kelly Carver. All mass shooters were taking antidepressants. Stop taking these drugs, people. Okay, all right. But yeah, family, that's what I have for you guys this afternoon. Thank you guys for joining me. I know a lot of you guys right out of church, but this is church. Black empowerment is a religion, okay? It is about empowerment of ourselves and do for selves. I thank you all for joining me here this afternoon. Please like, share, subscribe this video, family. I think a lot of the history, brief history that we went over here today is just a pin drop of the great and wonderful things that we have done in America, because Black American culture is American culture, and it will not be erased. It will not be forgotten as long as there's people towing the line. As long as there are people towing the line like you and I, speaking truth to power, speaking up, and not letting no white supremacists, no suspected white supremacists ever say anything negative that we're not contributing to this great country that we call home. So the next time somebody tell you you should go back home, you like, this is my home. You should be going back to home to Europe. That's where you should be going. When we talk about true Americans, you're looking at them, family. Be one.